Hello and welcome back. So this is going to be our last video in the IT354 JavaScript tutorial playlist that I have on my YouTube channel. And today we're going to go over APIs. API is an acronym for Application Programming Interface. APIs are part of a server that takes in requests and sends responses out. That allows users to perform actions without leaving the site that they are on. In simple terms, APIs are used to list operations and descriptions that developers can use when creating their apps. APIs are typically returned in a JSON or XML format, and it is important to note that an API is not a database, but rather it is the code that dictates the access points to the server. So what is REST? REST stands for Representation State Transfer and is a design pattern for APIs. A RESTful API must follow these 6 constraints. First, there is the uniform interface. The uniform interface has to include a resource identifier within its request to the server along with an ample amount of information in the response. In a broader sense, the uniform interface ensures that the response from the request from different clients look the same. Then there is the client-server separation. Because the client and server act independently, the only interaction between them is in the form of a request. The request can only be initiated by the client and the responses that are then sent by the server. The third one is stateless. So having a stateless constraint means that the server doesn't remember anything about the use of the API. This means that it does not track if a user has sent a GET request or even what the resources the user had requested. The fourth constraint is layered system. Between the client requests and the server responses, there can be many servers or layers in between. These layers are typically used for security, caching, load balancing, etc. However, these layers do not affect the requests and responses, and the user is unable to see how many layers their requests go through. The fifth constraint is cacheable. This constraint is used to force the server to send whether or not the data in the response is cacheable. Typically, if the data is in fact cacheable, it will contain a version number, which can be used to keep the client from requesting the same data multiple times. This will also let the client know if the data is out of date and needs to send another request to the server. The final constraint is code on demand, which is actually an optional constraint for RESTful APIs. This essentially states that if a client requests code from a server, then the server should contain code. This code is typically a script when the response is in HTML. This then leads to what is Postman? So Postman is a platform that developers use for API development. Postman can be used to simplify the building of APIs in order to create better APIs. It allows for developers to save and organize requests, use variables to substitute information, and switch between environments. So now I'm going to show you how you can use Postman to pull and display an API. So let's say I want to use the GitHub API to find out more information on my personal account. In Postman, I can place this URL, let's say https, and then we'll say api.github.com/users/ my username, which is Lauren Capron. And then I will click send. This then retrieves the information that is displayed using JSON, which is shown in this box down here under the body tag. Within the data that was retrieved, you can also see that it provides links to other APIs, such as the API for my followers and who I'm following, a list of repositories, and so on. It also includes information like my username, my website, my bio location, and so on. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching my JavaScript tutorials, and I will hope to see you back soon.